Ladies and gentlemen, gamers, welcome back to the channel. Patch 1.1 is now live. Pretty early in the week. I was expecting Thursday or Friday, but I'm really happy to have this on a Tuesday, which is awesome. And as you can see here, this is the first major update. We're going to jump into this update and check it out. But tons of bug fixes. I believe around 1,300, they said. Quality of life improvements, gameplay balance adjustments. There's a few of these. I think a bigger balance update will be coming around the corner. And then new features. So we're going to check those out and see what that's all about. There's also a video that was just released by Relic yesterday. Operation Sapphire Jackal. Pretty cool few-minute video. I'll leave that in the description below. But let's go ahead and jump into the patch notes here. This was just posted by John R.E. This overview. So I'll just read through this. We're going to go through this, guys. It's pretty hefty. There's a lot here. Look at this. This is ridiculous. This is going to be some computer eye strain for sure. But Relic says, our team is excited to share the first major update for Company of Heroes 3, which we've been codenamed Operation Sapphire Jackal. This update includes a substantial number of bug fixes, quality of life improvements, gameplay balance adjustments, and all new features and content. With so many changes going into this 1.1 update, our team will be standing by to roll out hot fixes should any serious issues come up. That's awesome. And this is a pretty big update, guys. I mean, it's great to see this just, 1 month after launch. They're rolling this out, and they're going to be rolling out more patches soon, 1.2 and 1.3, of course. Okay, so new content. First thing on the list here is challenges. Challenges provide players the opportunity to complete daily and weekly in-game objectives. Completing challenges rewards players with merit. See further below for more details on merit. So we're going to figure out what merit is. Daily and weekly challenges will randomly select objectives for players to complete through normal playing multiplayer and co-op versus AI auto match modes. Okay, so I like this a lot just because I felt like for the past month I've been playing and I haven't really, there's no reason to play other than, of course, passion and love for the game, right? But it's nice to have a progression system, challenges. You see this a lot in games, of course, with monetization models and stores. Especially mobile games. Of course, guys, we're all gamers here. This is not a new thing to the gaming industry. This has been very prevalent in game design over the last decade. But it's nice. I enjoy having quests, challenges, things to do and unlock, and a progression system to move through the game. So I'm happy to see that pretty early on. I think it's good overall for the community. So players will get 2 new daily challenges, which will appear at 5 p.m. PT, and 3 new weekly challenges appearing at 5 p.m. Okay, that's cool. Cosmetics. With this update, we're launching a range of cosmetic options for every faction, allowing players to customize their armies in both multiplayer and single player. That's fantastic. The cosmetics available in this update are historically inspired. Check out our new post for a preview. Players can navigate to the store menu in-game to view all the cosmetics available. So I'll be jumping into that later in this video. We'll jump into the game client and see what's up. But let's look at these cosmetics very quickly here. So we have, of course, USF to start. I like this. It's pretty different from the standard USF cosmetics currently. We got Wehrmacht. This is my favorite. I think this is my favorite one. I really, really like this. I don't know if this fits the front, the Mediterranean front, but I think I will be using these skins for the Wehrmacht. I like it a lot, especially imagine these skins on Winterline, the night map, 4v4 night map. I think these would look fantastic, especially on that map, but any map, these would look pretty cool. The British one is pretty awesome too. I like it a lot. British getting a lot of love in Co 3. From cosmetics to balance. And then we have the DAC cosmetics. Pretty cool. Pretty North African themed, of course. You gotta love that. Little turban. I don't know what that is. What is that on his chest there? I can't tell. Pretty cool though. So guys, those are the cosmetics. We're going to jump into the game store a little bit later in the video and check these out in greater detail. I might be buying one. We'll see. But let's jump back to the patch notes. War bonds and merit. Okay, with Operation Sapphire Jackal, I don't know why this is codenamed Operation Sapphire Jackal. Is there something I'm missing here? Is this like a like a code word for something I should be understanding, or if anyone knows why they chose this, I would love to hear why, but I'm just not sure what this Operation Sapphire Jackal. I thought maybe there was like a historical reference, maybe there is, that I'm not aware of. But anyways, we're introducing 2 new currencies, War Bonds and Merit. All right. One of our goals with the in-game store is to ensure there's always a mix of earnable and paid content available so that players can choose how they use the store and unlockable content available. This will apply to everything in the store when it launches and as we move forward. Merit is currency earned by completing in-game challenges. Merit can be used to unlock some of the content in the store. Okay, so merit is simply the in-game currency that you can unlock by doing things in-game, by just gameplay, right? So basically, you play to earn with merit. War bonds, currencies earned by purchasing war bond packs. War bonds can be used to unlock any content in the game store. So this is a cute little marketing way, historical reference. You're not buying gold, you're buying war bonds. Supporting the war effort here. This is a Relic against the massive amount of bugs. But guys, to be honest, I really, they're one of the community members, Micro. Shout out to Micro. Made a big post yesterday saying why he thinks a store is not a good idea, and I totally understand that perspective. I get it. Like, we don't want this to be a cash grab for Sega or Relic. But here's my take on this, just real quick. I actually think the store is a good idea because these are not purchases that are going to affect gameplay, right? These are cosmetics, so they're not going to affect you. If you don't want to buy them, you don't have to. And if you do want to buy them, you have the option to customize your army according to your preferences, which I think is fantastic. I like that. I want to be able to do that, to have some unique cosmetics to my army. And in Code 2, you had that option, and I had tons of cool cosmetics in that game. In this game, I have none. So I'm happy to start that kind of journey of, I'm unlocking this, and hopefully Relic over time will unlock specials and do things where you can get skins for a limited time, and you could look back and say, I was part of that event, or I was one of the first Company of Heroes players, and I had that skin from years back down the line. So I think the store is a cool way to introduce those things. And here's my thing. If these cosmetics are a way for Relic to generate revenue as a company, companies have to be profitable. Gaming companies are a business. The company has to be profitable for not so that they can have this cash grab and ditch Company of Heroes, but so Company of Heroes can be supported for the long run. That's just how it works, and I'm all about other ways for Relic to be able to support themselves so that they can continue to develop the game. Now, if they just take the money and run and cash grab and then ditch the game in a year, then okay, I agree with anyone who's against the store and say, okay, terrible idea. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Relic's really going to use the revenue to invest back in the game. Of course, they have to answer to Sega, but I think they're in this for the long run. I think they're going to use these resources to develop the game across the board. New content, graphic and audio improvements, faction design, art redesigns, and who knows what they're going to be introducing to the game, tournament modes and co-esport. So I'm all for this. All right, let's continue. So fixes, audio, all new voiceover for Gurkha Infantry unit. This is hilarious. I use these units quite a bit, and I was like, I could probably do a better impression than what is currently in the game. So I'm happy. It just sounded off. So I'm happy that they got a new voiceover. Gonna check that out in game. It'll be pretty interesting. Added audio cue for when a player joins or leaves a party. So I wasn't aware of this, but I of course the ping sound, I'm sure audio cue is going to be nice. Just an intuitive way to recognize someone leaves or joins. Audio adjustments for map pings. Yeah, they were terrible. Absolutely terrible. Really happy to see them audio adjustments. Even if they're not very visible right now, of course, I think Relic's going to be working on making the pings a little more visual. Hopefully a lot more visual. But at least if there's an audio ping, you can have some sense of awareness during a chaotic match. Okay, audio improvements for the war cry ability. Okay, that's cool. All players will now hear a trench whistle followed by a crowd swell indicating the ability has been activated. Yeah, so this is reminiscent of the URA Soviet conscripts in Code 2. I imagine that's the first thing that came to my mind. So I like that. I think it's a good idea. It's very iconic and easy for players, intuitive for players to recognize when that happens immediately. If the audio is very profound, players will know, okay, he just used that ability. I got to back up or I got to engage properly. All right. Combat music no longer starts immediately after intro. Okay, so campaign stuff I'm not aware of. Moving on. Sorry, guys. If you're hardcore you're interested in campaign, that's not what I'm going to be covering. I'm going to be skipping a lot of the campaign stuff, but I'll leave this in the link below for you guys to check out the campaign. I don't know. I didn't play the campaigns, only the first mission, so I have no idea what's needed in those or anything related to that. Okay. Fix a bug that occurs when recovering enemy vehicle, and the vehicle would retain the enemy voice. Oh, that's hilarious. Here we go, guys. 1,300 bugs. We're going to see a lot of these. Fix an issue where M2A1 howitzers were missing voice over lines. All right. Fix an issue where motors recruited by the effort core would have no voice. Jeez. Fix an issue where restoring a wrecked vehicle would not play sound effects. When you're in the middle of a game, you don't recognize a lot of these, but this is quite dramatic here. Fix an issue where victory and defeat screen voiceover sometimes. Yeah, I've seen this one. Fix unnecessary intel message that played when using a truck to recruit team weapon. Okay. Fixed capture point sound effects when neutralized. Yeah. I have noticed this. Fixed recon ability sound effects being heard in the fog of war. Yeah, that's a huge problem. That's good that that's fixed. That should never be a thing. Fix silent voiceover line at the end of to defend. Okay, single player stuff. Fix the Humber turret sound effects for fire rate. It sounded okay, but that's good. Hover sound have probably lay in the select map screen. Okay, it's nice. Some UI stuff. Intel voiceover warnings for weapon crews such as HC guns and motors didn't play when the... Yeah, I didn't notice that as well. There was like no feedback. Voiceover warnings now play correctly. That's good, especially for those units that are like so static and support based. Refine the voiceover section to reduce recurrence of memorable lines. Yeah, it's good. A little more consistent. Sound effects properly plays when hovering over. Okay, squad garrison and buildings now give a voiceover warning when the building is at risk of being destroyed. That's good. Yeah, that's 100%. These are just like things that we took for granted in Code 2, but we absolutely need. Humber armored car and the CMP truck now have a radio effect applied to their voice lines. Badass. I like the radio effects and also the difference between voice lines and buildings. If a unit's in a building, it sounds like he's distant or it sounds like he's calling in from a radio. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but it is really cool. So I like to see that added detail with the voiceovers. Okay, the paratrooper squad's M1 Carbine now plays unique firing sound effects. Nice. U.S. Force half-tracks now play different audio after being upgraded. U.S. Force infantry will make footsteps sounds when retreating. Oh, that's cool. U.S. Force intel referred to Pathfinders as scouts and appointment HQ. They are now correctly referred to as Pathfinders. Nice. Victory and defeat music on the result screen is no longer affected by the muffling effect on remaining battle sounds. Okay, nice. So they're just optimizing that. Art. Ooh, this should be interesting. So added missing destruction to wrecked truck asset. Okay, good. Building under construction no longer appear completed if you move the camera. That's hilarious. Fix an issue where the main menu background would not appear. Fixed lighting on the battleship and the dynamic campaign. Okay. Fixed missing hole and breach of British 6-pounder AT gun. Fixed several visual issues with debris physics from destroyed buildings. Fixed taillights for Sherman tanks to bring them closer to real life tail. Okay, nice. I like that. I mean, that's a minor detail, but that's great to see. Fixed texture issue with Stuka plane wrecks already on maps that appear pure black. Yeah, the planes, not only the plane wrecks on the maps, but the planes in general need so much work. The off-map columns and just planes in general. I hope we see that. Fixed textures on SF Commando Squad's Johnson LMG so it's not showing just black in game. Okay, The Flaming Warfare 35 of the Vermont and DAC is using player color instead of the default gray. Yeah, I did notice that. Ken Craig communication cables have an updated texture and color. Good. That's cool. Sherman tanks explode with improved smoke effects. Nice. Sherman Whizbang turret now has the correct color and material upon being upgraded. Okay, the Devil's Brigade Sherman now has the correct material on its upgraded 76mm turret. There we go. We're getting that value for the premium edition that we paid for. The flag on the Devil's Brigade victory point now connects with the flagpole. Great, thank you, Relic. That's hilarious. I mean, just look how much work goes into this, man. Like developing a new game at launch, and there's just so many little things that go on in game design that you have to fix and deal with. This is a lot of work. I'm happy they're addressing all of it quickly. Gurkhas now equip, attach, and animate correctly when obtaining new weapons. Okay. U.S. Forces M1 AT gun team now holds their team weapon properly. I don't know how they were holding it improperly before, but glad to see that. It was probably some awkward looking animation. Victory and defeat videos are now displayed in high resolution. Sweet. Wehrmacht Pioneers and Falchion Pioneers now place Mine 42s and instructed instead of S mines. Oh, okay. I didn't even realize that was a thing, but okay, good. Animations. All right. Engineers will no longer T-pose when canceling construction or having... okay. Engineers will no longer do when reinforcing a squad. All right. Fix the animation issue when units attempt to ride the Centaur medium tank. Okay. Yeah, I haven't really used this as much as I thought I would have, but perhaps I will start using it more. Fix an issue that could cause animation bugs upon reloading a save. Fix animation issue that could occur when a medic was carrying a casualty and their assigned medical building was destroyed. Okay, that's cool. I love the reintroduction of medics in the game. I think it's so cool to have zombie squads again, to see medics running back to and fro between the support and front lines. It's super nostalgic to Co 1 and reminiscent of Co 1, but I love it. I think it's great. And hopefully we'll see more of that in the game. More strategies around it and so forth. Okay, fix several issues with spent magazines remaining in the weapon during reload animations. Infantry will no longer look like they are falling when near destroyed churches. Okay. That's bizarre. Motor crews no longer get stuck in an infinite animation loop when they retreat after using a stop clearing ability. Motor crews no longer T-bone retreating just as they're... Okay, yeah, good. Hopefully, the motors and MG teams will stop getting stuck in base. I noticed that. I don't know if it's when you steal an MG or not, but I noticed they're also getting stuck just in the HQ, which is bizarre. Like not being able to command your unit at all. Smooth airplane turning for a certain bombing run and supplies run abilities. Okay, yeah, this is what I was talking about. I really hope this gets fixed, because when you see a plane just like glitching out on your screen as you're calling it just breaks the immersion. So Co has always had really good animations for their off maps, so I hope that this is fixed either now or relatively soon. We'll find out. The Africa Corps 254 Reconnaissance Tractor Commander, which I love, by the way, no longer has binoculars stuck to their face. No hands. He's been no-handing it, guys, for the past month. Units will no longer get stuck for several seconds if given a queued retreat order after an order to recruit. And abandoned heavy weapon, U.S. Forces heavy machine crews no longer have their ammo boxes float around after... Yeah, I've seen that. It looks very bizarre. Wehrmacht units holding STG-44s no longer T-pose and rapidly turning around. When aiming at a bridge with destructible, U.S. Force Bazooka Squad's members no longer assert dominance over the bridge. Alrighty, they're just flexing, I guess, to assert dominance. Interesting. When riding in a vehicle towing a heavy weapon, the weapon's crew will try to keep their hands, feet, and heads inside the vehicle at all times. That's funny. Okay, so UI UX. Okay, this is a big one. This is what I'm really interested to see. We performed a full review of all text in our user interface. AI players listed in the custom browse game screen now display the correct icon. Added a confirmation when leaving the settings. Okay. Okay, good. Added a setting option to enable exclusive control groups. Okay, exclusive control groups make squads only occupy one control group at a time, like previous code games. Okay, this is good. I think one of you guys were asking about this in the hotkey video guide that I made. Yeah, so that way you're not having units occupied on multiple groups at the same time. So this will just make it easier to add your control groups instead of mixing up units and getting stuck. Okay, the Hellcat aim shot ability now has an icon status decorator above the unit when idle in state. Okay, adjusted the color, styling, and duration of mini event cues that appear on the left edge of the screen during real-time gameplay. Battle group icons now remain visible after switching sides in the lobby. Chat box no longer stretches when typing very long messages. Nice. Yeah, going back to this battle icons now remain visible after switching sides in the lobby. I just hope the battle group icons become... I don't like how I have to click on the battle group in game and then click on confirm. It should be a little... If I double click a battle group ability or click on it, it should just select it for me. I know that could get into some misclicking, but I would like not only the battle group interactivity, like the selection of the battle group in game to be quicker, but also I would like it to look a little bit better. I think it could be improved in terms of the visual aesthetic of the battle groups. It still needs work. They're a little simplistic in my opinion, but it's fine. Currently I think they get the job done. Okay. Company name is Kurishima, no longer cut off in Japanese. Wonderful. Fixed recently played with list. All right. Fixed a bug where changing UI settings in the main menu would not impact single player skirmish. Fixed an issue causing input to be blocked when exiting loading screens in certain cases. Fixed an issue in the tutorial in which hint arrows were not being removed. Oh, that's annoying. That caused some objectives to be started multiple times. Fixing your campaign. Fixing an issue where clearing any grid hotkey did not clear. Fixed an issue where left and right mouse buttons had missing text in the settings under view and remap controls. Okay, good. Fixed several issues related to special characters not displaying correctly in non-English languages. Fixed several issues with missing hotkeys on the command card. Yep, I saw that. That's good. That's really good they fixed that. Fixed tooltip information on invite to party button. In view and remap control settings, keys that cannot be reassigned can no longer be cleared. All right. That's good. That'll make it a little easier to remap. Party chat box no longer appears when not in a party. Good. Pause menu will be closed at the end of the match before transitioning to victory defeat screen. Add labels to all missing player statistics in the poach match screen. Okay, good. Yeah, I noticed that those were missing. They looked a little bit lackluster. Realign tooltip positions on main menu buttons. A lot of people are pretty upset about the main menu. I think the main menu is okay. I didn't love the art of the box. The premium edition, I didn't love the game menu. It's okay. You know, to me, it's a game menu. It doesn't have to be incredible, but it would be nice if it was improved. But to me, again, it's not a big deal. Replace several icons and portraits with the correct combination icons. Yeah, I noticed that a lot of the icons in the menu are not proper. Hans talks about that a little bit. A scorecard and elapsed time are now properly hidden with Control plus Shift plus key to enable screenshot mode. Text in the load screen is no longer cut off in Japanese. Wow, a lot of Japanese issues. Shout out to any Japanese players. Updated unique player color option. Colors are now unique per team. Allies will be cool colors, and enemies will be warm. This should have been at the very top. This is big. This is important, guys. It's good we got a quick fix to address this. This is huge. All right, so nice on UI. Maps. Let's look at that. I'm curious to see maps just because I want to know where there were issues and what has been updated. Add missing cover to many objects in the environment. Okay. So we're going to have to figure out where those covers are. Fix an issue where certain buildings would not let units kill the last few enemies hold up inside them. Yeah, I think I've come across that a few times. Fix an issue where territory lines did not draw correctly on stairs. I wasn't aware of that. Fix an issue with certain buildings where units retreating from inside the building would get stuck when trying to exit. Yep, I've seen that. Fix an issue with territory being drawn outside the playable area of the map. Yeah, I've seen that border. I've seen those borders before, even on stream. Fix several issues related to bridges not correctly having cover. Okay. Fix several issues with indestructible hedges. Yeah, that's a problem. Fix several issues with small objects taking up too much space when blocking unit movement. the pathing needs a lot of work. I hope we get some phase through or some kind of improvement to pathing so it's a little bit easier to maneuver vehicles around other objects and other vehicles. Tightrope released a great video showing some of the issues and how to mitigate them. Okay. Improved width of pass around some cliff areas to reduce clipping. Okay, minor adjustments to strategic and different locations on Gazelle landing ground to ensure the western points favor the southern team and eastern points favor the northern team. Okay, so let me just try and think about that. I gotta look at the mini map. Gazelle landing ground to ensure the western points favor the southern team. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's a natural progression of how it should go. Yeah. I think the South should have an easier time in the Southwest. Naturally, I think that's where I gravitate towards anyways. Okay, so I'll be interested to check that out. Remove cover from Greek staircases to prevent unintended gameplay issues. Territory layout adjusted on ensure a fair dispersal of munitions resources to near teams HQ areas. Okay. So I have to check these out. I wasn't aware of these particular issues. Tiger Heavy Tank Colin can no longer get stuck behind the Wehrmacht HQ on Winterline map. Could you imagine calling in a Tiger Heavy that you desperately need and then it just gets stuck behind your HQ? I don't know. I've never seen this bug, but were you able to get the Tiger out or was it just stuck indefinitely? That's hilarious. Updated hangar assets no longer provide cover. Spin actions are provided cover to units beneath them. Okay, nice. That's a good little detail. Updated map, edge visuals, including railway tunnel and rail lines. Updated rock geometry to be impassable, preventing undesirable clipping. Good. Updated terrain behind several rows of buildings to prevent buildings from being indestructible. Nice. Okay. Rendering stability. Bloom was removed. Fixed blur or haze on the maps. Oh, wow. Okay, nice. I did notice this quite a bit. I didn't know what to call it. I wasn't aware of this term bloom, but definitely a blur and haze on the maps. That is 100% something that I think a lot of us have noticed. That's fantastic. I can't wait to see what it looks like. Fix the bug that could cause a soft lock if the player started a campaign mission. Okay. Fix the bug where sometimes skipping a cutscene will cause the game to crash. All right. Fix the crash related to the round ability with partisan marksman. Okay, I haven't seen that. Tungsten round ability. Fix the crash that sometimes happen when loading a saved game. Fix an issue with capped FPS. Yep, I've heard quite a bit about this. Okay. Fix an issue where sometimes the green dots used to indicate cover would be rendered floating in the air. Fix an issue with units not rendering properly after adjusting the game scale and graphics settings and then zooming the camera out. Yeah, that's important. Reduce memory increases across missions. Nice. Tactical map. Here we go. We got one update so far. Fixed an issue technical where capture point animations were offset. Yep, I've seen this quite a bit. I would like to get more UI updates and graphical, visual improvements to the tactical map, but I assume we're going to get this in the next month or 2 months, few months. We'll see. All right, gameplay, guys. Relic said the gameplay update was not going to be like huge for this patch 1.1, but there is a big balance patch coming in the future. I think it's wise. They're going to squash the bugs, see how the game runs and plays, let the meta play out a little bit more, and then launch out a full balance update. So gameplay. Though this update does not include what we consider a full balance pass, yep, we made several changes to help shake up multiplayer and co-op. We'll be keeping an eye out on your feedback and matches, and we'll roll out further balance adjustments in a timely fashion. General. All right. Artillery now properly collides with vehicles. Good. Base buildings align with HQ by default rather than pointing to the map center. Base buildings align with HQ. Okay, yeah, that's a nice little adjustment. Destroyed bridges no longer receive damage until they are fully repaired. This was because it was easy to deal damage faster than they could be repaired, resulting in permanently closed paths. Yeah, that's important. Not to prevent bridges being restored. After players will have to focus on disrupting or killing engineers or coming repaired. Yeah, that's important. I like that change. Fix the bug where heavy weapons could not be recruited when previous crew died while being towed. Okay, good. More intuitive. Fix a few instances of AI-controlled heavy weapons tearing down instead of firing after setup. Fixing an issue where AI-controlled squads are entering from the map edge where they would attack the player units from outside the playable area. Fix an issue where battle group abilities could spawn units targeting locations outside the map. Oh, wow. Oh, I wasn't aware of that. Fix an issue where certain emplacements were missing veterancy description text. Yeah, I think the UI should be a little more clear with veterancy as well. I think too many details are hidden within the UI where you have to like put your cursor over to figure out, you know, the veterancy abilities, how many kills you've gotten, who the player is controlling this unit, right? Like I can't see those things very easily. So I would like to see that fixed. Okay. So we got a bunch of issues here. Fix an issue where certain emplacements were missing veterancy description text. Fix an issue where infantry inside specific buildings on specific maps could not attack or be attacked. That's a huge issue. Fix an issue where players had access to battle groups from other factions. Yeah, I've come across this several times, and it drove me nuts. I was the British with U.S. forces battle groups that I couldn't use. I didn't have battle groups all game, and vice versa. Thankfully, that's fixed. Fix an issue where sometimes vehicles will not rotate correctly to fire when given attack or attack round commands. Yep, I've seen this a lot with vehicles. Very common, and hopefully resolved. Fix an issue where the icon was incorrect for auto reinforce on medical stations and field infirmaries when deactivated. Okay, nice. Fix an issue with certain grenade abilities not going on cooldown properly after use. Oh, wow. I haven't noticed that, but that's good. Fix several issues with units being able to leave the playable map area. Yeah, I just saw this last night, actually. Heavy machine gunners no longer try to shoot targets that are out of range. That's good, because it sounds like an exercise in futility. Heavy weapon squads are now included in units and unit stats at the end of a match. Nice. Improved vehicle movement and responsiveness. Very nice. I don't know what that means. It's a very general statement, but we'll find out. Many tooltips and descriptions have been updated to better reflect abilities, units, veterancy, and upgrades for greater clarity information to the player. Fix several tooltips and icons missing on abandoned British team weapons. Nice. Very good. Fix a tooltip issue where the advanced self-repair versions of the 4x4 truck did not state must be damaged and instead left a blank requirement. Paratrooper tooltip has been updated to reflect that paratroopers can be paradropped anywhere outside the enemy base rather than only within friendly territory. That's good, yeah. It should be intuitive to the player. Plane wrecks no longer have unexploded bombs attached to them. Recovery vehicles will no longer fail to repair vehicles the first time you attempt to repair a vehicle after recovering its wreck. Removed ability for units to stand behind and shoot through the closed door on second story of the stone barn. Several tank turrets abilities that can be fired on the move will now stop correctly if issued a stop command. Good, yeah, I noticed that. That's very good to see. We need that micro, capability. Tanks no longer do a dance on bridges on the campaign map. All right. Tier 1 battle group abilities no longer have a warning that they require previous ability to be unlocked. Okay, yeah, that's good. Units no longer have the high ground while paradrop are dropping in. Okay, that's good. Updated line of sight generated by capture points to be more consistent with previous co-games. Nice. Updated Rebel Palace to improve pathfinding around certain key buildings. Vehicles commanded to face in a different direction will turn properly instead of driving in circles. Yeah, thank you. Man, that drives me nuts. When selecting a wrecked vehicle, the unit info card now mentions info about salvaging. So just make it a little more intuitive for people. When taking window positions while garrisoning a building, infantry now prioritizes squad members with special or heavy weapons for better firing positions. Nice. It's not something I necessarily thought about, but that's a cool little change. Wrecked vehicles no longer scoot backwards before being lifted by a recovery vehicle during the recovery sequence. All right, that's something that looks a little bizarre. Single player, guys. Once again, I'll leave this in the description below. If you want to check out single player changes, we have both single player and the general and Italian Dynamic Campaign. Looks like a ton of things. Wow, look at this. This is insane. And the North Africa operation as well. Quite a few changes. All right. And then now we are towards the bottom here, multiplayer. The good stuff, at least in my opinion. Added mission foundation under some exterior... Oh, added missing foundation under some exterior props for German Luftwaffe company to stop them from floating if built on uneven terrain. I haven't seen that, but that's bizarre. Africa Corps emergency repair kits upgrade no longer works while vehicles are moving. That's fair. Africa Corps Panzerjägers no longer receive the salvage kit ability. Okay. Interesting. British forward observer barrage abilities now consistently require that a barrage not already be active. That sounds fair, so it's not overly abusive. British infantry section's forward barrage ability no longer throws a flare, but uses flares consistent with the Dingo and Humber. Okay. Yeah, that's consistent across the board, so players know exactly what's coming. British Matilda 2 heavy tank will now shoot infantry with a constant machine gun. So that wasn't happening before. I wasn't aware of that. Afrika Korps Panzer IV and Stug G now properly provide the benefits of armory upgrades. It's important. Fixed the bug where Afrika Korps Panzer III tanks could not use their smoke launchers a second time after the ability was used once. Okay. That's bizarre. I just haven't played Afrika Korps enough. I don't play the deck as much. I play the other 3 factions way more than the deck. Fixed a bug where U.S. Forces Armored Battle Group's fast deployability was not properly reducing production times. That's bizarre. Fixed an issue where the Fallschirm Pioneer icon would appear locked in the battle group menu when infantry reserve was unlocked. Yeah, I've seen that. Fixed an issue where battle group icons in the player list were incorrect. Yep, that's an important fix. Fixed an issue where the Churchill command tank column did not reference the proper unit and its abilities. Yeah, so these are just like very basic but extremely important things to just have right in the game. These are just like really, really basic issues. Fix an issue where the cost for carpet bomb and rocket strafe refunded 1 CP when unlocked. What? Fix an issue where the Grenadier medkit would not heal a squad while moving. Fix an issue where the LG-40 could not be para-dropped if they had 5 or less population space available. Fix an issue where the LG-40 could not be para-dropped if they had 5 or less population space available. Looks like this is a redundant typo here. Fix an issue with the Airborne Rally Company ability was not applying bonuses correctly. Flare and smoke cooldowns will now persist when upgrading from Scout. Yeah, that's good. Improved handling of disconnects while the game is loading, so more stability. Infantry section forward barrage ability no longer requires specific base building to be alive. Okay. Killing Vermont infantry now correctly updates the kill count UI. That's cool. I love to see my kill count, and I love it to be a little easier to see. Smoke rifle grenade minimum range now correctly set at 15. Stuart mark target can no longer stack. That's good. Taking the Pathfinder upgrade for scouts in the U.S. Force Airborne Battle Group now works correctly on scouts that were in the building's production queue at the time the upgrade was taken. Previously, they would spawn without the extra unit in the squad. Yeah, that's important to make sure that that's aligning properly. The Afrika Korps Time Infantry Battle Group howitzer can now shoot at its minimum range. Oh, so this wasn't able to shoot at close range. The British Air and Sea Battle Group supply surplus ability is no longer available for other factions. All right, there we go. The U.S. Forces Special Operations Battle Group assault ability no longer disables retreat while active. Oh, interesting. So that was disabling retreat. U.S. Forces Heavy Machine Gun Fighting Position no longer displays a veterancy bar. U.S. Forces Heavy Weapons stolen by other factions now keep their veterancy abilities. U.S. Forces Infantry Support Center Advanced Logistics discount has been adjusted to be more consistent across every unit. Previously, the amount varied slightly between units. U.S. Forces, okay. So that's good to have that consistency. Yeah, I think the upgrade should be more consistent across every unit. U.S. Forces SSF Commando Squad's demolition charge description updated to reflect that it is a manual rather than a time trigger. Okay, Wehrmacht MG42 bunker impasse bug has been fixed. Previously, it was not blocking units pathfinding or other building construction, leading to unintended gameplay issues like being able to stack 4 bunkers for a 360 degrees area coverage. Damn, that's annoying. Good fix. Okay, multiplayer balance changes. Infantry and motor flares. Motor and infantry flare duration decreased from 30 to 15. I think that's a good that's a good change, because this was pretty abusive to be able to have vision for 30 seconds. I mean, a player, if you flare, a player is not going to be able to remaneuver his position or properly counter an anticipated position for 30 whole seconds. That's just too much. So 15 seconds is good. It allows both players to kind of maneuver and try to implement a counter attack or counter defense without the fog of war just being, completely obstructed. So that's great. Loiters. So yeah, anyone who's been playing for the past month knows how strong these are, both in terms of their damage and their accuracy and just the quickness that they get onto the map. Loiters were clearly overtuned across the board, being very oppressive and offering little counterplay. Totally agree. There's nothing you could do. We've toned these abilities so that their impact is more appropriate for their cost, 100%. This is fantastic. We need this. British Forces AT, rocket loiter, munition cost increased from 120 to 180, Typhoon rocket damage from 200 to 100, Typhoon rocket count from 6 to 5 per pass. Yeah, so look at that. From a substantial increase, what is that, 50% increase for the munition cost on the British loiter, and then you're looking at a 50% reduction in damage for the rockets. That's pretty substantial. I think this should be way better. Typhoon rocket count from 6 to 5 per pass. Okay, so and yeah, this is a big nerf. Wehrmacht Luftwaffe Stuka loiter. Stuka and damage loiter damage from 30 to 20. Okay, Stuka AT loiter damage against vehicles from 50 to 25. Stuka AT loiter rate from a fire from 15 to 12. Okay, yeah. So once again, pretty good nerf. These are pretty heavy-handed nerfs, but I think they're needed. These things shouldn't be just knocking out tanks every single time, with no counterplay. Africa armor support AT loiter munition cost reduced from 225 to 180. Okay, so that's getting a little bit of a buff there. U.S. Forces airborne reinforcement loiter fixed ability reinforcing squad to full strength even if the video was over. Oh wow, I've used this a couple times. I didn't notice that, but perhaps that was happening. Maximum number of reinforced entities from infinite to 12 to 15 total. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Munition cost decreased from 80 to, or increase. Munition cost increased from 80 to 150, so almost double there. That's huge. I think that's fair. 80 is so cheap. I remember just being able to use this constantly. Reinforce rate dramatically reduced to one model replaced every 4 seconds. Okay. That's good. Reinforce rate dramatically reduced to one model replaced every 4 seconds. I think that's better pacing. And I hope this doesn't make blobs more... I don't think it will. I don't think it will make blobs more prevalent, but blobs are something that also need to be addressed. I've seen a lot of blobbing in Co3. Okay, U.S. Forces Engineer Squad. U.S. Forces Engineer Squad's lighted up veteran C ability can now be used without a flamethrower. Cost 30 munitions without flamethrower. Okay, that's good. We shouldn't be incentivizing people to use flamethrowers more anyways. Cost 30 munitions without flamethrower upgrade. I like that. So adding another optionality there. Pathfinders getting a change. We have found that Pathfinders provide too much momentum and utility in the early game. I did notice that, especially in 1v1. But there is a huge amount of momentum, tempo. A lot of tempo in the early game where you get to skip a building, pump 4 of these guys out really quickly, and then you could transition into the weapon support center. You could transition into paratroop drops. So many different ways to play this and keep your tempo high. I felt it was a little bit strong. Allowing players to rush out the overwhelming Shermans. Oh man, they know my strategy. Relic knows. Relic knows what I've been doing. We have made adjustments to make this build less oppressive. And we'll be closely monitoring the strategy. All right, can't do this. Well, we'll still try this. Relic knows. Build time increased from 25 to 33. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty substantial increase in build time. Flare ability range decreased from 50 to 40. Good. I think that's important. They shouldn't have that much range recon. Now have access to utility package. Okay. Flares, rifle smoke grenades, and rifle grenades now all require utility package. Okay, so you're going to have to purchase to unlock these, which I think is absolutely fine. They have so much utility already, guys. They should not just have that for free compared to like Vermont Grenadiers, which have no utility in comparison, or very little. Reinforcement costs increase from 25 to 30 manpower. Okay, so that's pretty substantial over the course of the game. Smoke rifle grenade recharge time increased from 120 to 180. So it's going to be less quick on that on the cycle there. Upkeep per population increased from 1 to 1.25 manpower per minute. All right, so yeah, Pathfinders not getting an overwhelming. They're not like inherently weaker in terms of their damage, but I think overall they're not going to have that same amount of tempo in the early game. Okay, so Scouts, build time increased from 25 to 33. So same thing. This is just going hand in hand with the Pathfinder build. The Sherman, the 76mm Sherman, AoE damage drop-off reduced to Sherman's 75mm levels. Area of effect model damage cap decreased from 4 to 3. Okay, so a slight change to the Sherman. And then the last thing here, guys, is the Africa Corps, the DAC change. The Armado M1340 light tank. The M1340 was too efficient for its timing and cost. I totally agree. Combined with the powerful advantage ability and bugged ability, the M1340 scaled to a point it could outcompete higher tier tanks. The following changes tone these factors down. Yeah, so basically, guys, what was happening is you could just spam. You could skip a building in tier, technically, a late game, save your resources, and just start spamming these out from like the mid game. And so you have like several of them. We're talking 4, 5, 6, 7 of these tanks, sometimes even more if players go nuts. And you can just capitalize on that window of opportunity, and you can out spam enemy later game tanks that come out and just overwhelm them, rear armor shots and so forth. So I think that's a silly little strategy that, yeah, it should be addressed. Okay, AP rounds penetration bonus from plus 90% to plus 33%. Wow, that's a huge penetration nerf. Fuel costs increase from 45 to 50. Okay, so 5 fuel cost increase. That's pretty good. It's not huge, but it's good. Italian Vanguard reload bonuses per nearby Italian unit from minus 10% to minus 5%. Reload bonus maxes out at minus 25% or 5 units. Okay, so maybe Tightrope will do a video on what the implications of this are, and I'm not sure, but it looks pretty substantial. Reload bonus maxes out at minus 25% or 5 units. So yeah, that's once again stopping that just ridiculous spam. Main weapon rate of fire decreased from 3.2, 3.5 to 3.5, 4.125. Okay. So yeah, pretty substantial. It's going to fire less. I like that change. Nothing major here, guys. Again, this was pretty subtle multiplayer changes, especially the balance changes are very, very minimal. But there's going to be a lot more to come, I think, in patch 1.2 or in the next big patch. So, guys, that was a very lengthy read. We just read a whole book there. But I'm going to be jumping into the game client to check out all the new store optionality, UI function, and skins. So let's jump into that. All right, guys. So the first thing you're going to notice are these two currencies at the top. We have war bonds on the left-hand side in gold. And on the right-hand side in blue, we have the merit. War bonds are only acquirable through purchasing. If you click on this middle button here, you're going to have war bonds available only for purchase with fiat currency. So you're going to have these 5 different options here. And then you're also going to have your merit, which is currency in game that is acquirable through challenges. So this is very much play to earn. So you'll be able to do that. And then this is very much just purchase these in-game war bonds, and you can use these war bonds to purchase in the store. Now, on the right-hand side, you'll see challenges, this little new icon here. You're going to have weekly challenges, which are going to be obviously a little bit harder to accomplish. Kill 50 vehicles as the DAC, for example. That's 400 merit. You're going to have kill 50 vehicles as the Wehrmacht for 250 merit, and kill 50 vehicles with light tanks for 250 merit. So as you can see here, this is going to be 900 merit for the week. And we'll look and see what that will allow us to buy, what kind of purchasing power this is relative to the store. And you have your daily quests, which is win a match as the U.S. Forces in co-op versus AI for 100 merit, and breach with the U.S. Forces Rifleman Squad in a match for 30 merit. I actually like this a lot, especially for the daily quests. If Relic is introducing mechanics through the challenges, it will allow new players and even moderate players to learn new mechanics, test new factions, new units. It's a great way to challenge players and give them incentive to learn new mechanics in the game and new ways to play. So a cool way to allow players to gain exposure in the game. So I like this a lot. I love the idea of a progression system and having challenges. It's just more reason to log on and play Co. Not that I need that because I love this game, but okay. So once again, we have these two currencies, war bonds and merit. If you click on the store at the top left here, the store is going to pop up. Guys, you have at the top here, top left, featured and cosmetics. So you can click on cosmetics. It's going to show you all the different cosmetics available currently in the store. And featured is going to have, of course, these highlights on the right-hand side. So these highlights, I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming these highlights are going to be changing according to a cycle. So these are individual cosmetics for individual units. If you click on the unit here, you could see a little description, the rarity. I don't know what the rarity means quite yet, but we'll find out. But like, for example, if you click on the Mega Winter Tundra pack, you can see the rarity is legendary. I don't know if this is only available for a limited time or what the purpose of the rarity is, because if this is just going to be in the store indefinitely, it's not that rare, right? So I'd like to know a little bit more about the rarity. Currently, I've seen rare, epic, which is in purple, and then legendary, which is in yellow there. And guys, if you notice this, we'll go ahead and there's all these featured cosmetics here ranging in price of war bonds. But if you click on see all, you're going to see that most of these cosmetics are available with war bonds. So unfortunately, you can't acquire these through merit. Some of these cooler packs, cosmetic packs. I would love to see both a war bond and a merit cost, per cosmetic. That would be nice to say, okay, I can't necessarily afford this, or I don't want to buy this with, war bonds. So 1900, that's going to cost you roughly, you're going to have to buy this $20 pack. Of course, it's only going to cost you, closer to $15 for that specific cosmetic. But, it's nice to be able to, okay, I'm not going to buy this with my fiat currency, but I'm going to wait a month and I'm going to get enough merit to acquire it. Not all of them need to have that. There could be some that are only available through war bonds, but it would be nice for some of these to have merit. Actually, we have one with merit. So I like this idea. I like the idea of having both a war bond and a merit. This is the Left Behind Walking Stuka. So this is a Walking Stuka skin cosmetic, which is pretty cool. You can get it for 240 or 4,000. Now, it's going to take you a long time to get 4,000 merit. I don't think that's the best allocation of your resources. So some people might be incentivized to buy the war bond, but I would like to see a little bit more optionality for the merit. As of now, it's mostly just, as we talked about, these featured highlights, which is still really cool. I mean, it's if you want to pick up a cosmetic for one of your favorite units, you can through merit. And it looks like you can get about 900 merit. Well, you can get 900 merit in the first week plus the daily, so you can acquire these relatively quickly. But guys, that's going to be about it for the store. Once again, we have tons of different cosmetics here. I'm not going to go into detail on all of these, but you guys can check these out in the store. And then if you were to purchase one, for example, and again, these cosmetics are going to range drastically. So like this one's going to be infantry pack, so it's going to have all infantry stuff. While this one, for example, is going to be first tank, so it's just going to be these 4 tanks cosmetic pack. But once you do that, you'll see next to the store, you'll see loadout. You can go to your loadout based on your faction, and you can also categorize them by order, and this will be more relevant over time as more stuff is unlocked. But overall, guys, I think the store is a pretty cool addition to the game. It's going to offer a lot of options to customize your army, ways to support Relic, and perhaps ways to do some cool events in the future as well. So I don't think this is a big deal, guys, in terms of the game implications. There's no balance implications or gameplay changes to the store, just cosmetic so far. So happy to see that. And there's a lot of changes that still need to be done in the game. A lot of gameplay changes haven't been addressed. There's still bug fixes that need to be addressed, but it's a good step in the right direction. Relic is addressing these things quickly, and they're not slowing down from what I've seen. We're just 1 month post-launch, and I think a lot more to come pretty soon. Once they squash a lot of these bugs, they can really focus on gameplay changes and content additions, and of course UI additions. So this is just one step forward, and I think it's a good step forward. It's in the right direction, and I'm looking forward to the updates to come. And hats off to Relic for just being so transparent with everybody and getting these updates out as soon as possible. I'm really excited to start playing, hopefully in a less buggy environment. I'm hyped to test the game out, and I'm sure you guys are too. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and smash the like button, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about patch 1.1, your opinion on the bug changes, the balance changes, the store. I would love to hear your guys' opinion on the store personally, what you think about it overall. And go ahead and smash the subscriber button if you haven't already. It goes a long way in supporting the channel. And I'll see you guys on the next one.